So let's get started with the Power BI with AI. And I may be completing it as soon as possible so that you try and grab as much as information possible and then get back to us. We can try and provide you with more information as well. Thank you to our sponsors, Microsoft Pass and Datio, for presenting this webinar. About myself, you might have known me very well already. So I'm Dr. Subramani Paramasivam, in short, Manny. I'm a data platform MVP in MCT, and I own 3 Power BI groups, as well as I've spoken in the past with all past summits, SQL Bits, SQL Saturdays, Data and BA Summit, Data Platform Summit, SQL Server Geek Summit, and loads of summits in the conferences worldwide. I was in Germany yesterday and day before yesterday to speak in MCT Global Summit. I had a data science gathering over there and also talked about empowering every person as one of the other one. So these are some of my certifications, and feel free to follow me or try and raise any questions. I will try and get back to me. At the end, I have my email address, so if you have anything, questions, then you can drop me directly. Let's get to the stuff. So Data Awareness Program is the first version of Empowering Every Person. So Empowering Every Person is the second version. So we just try and talk about these in every session so that people will get their awareness. All right. Okay, getting into technical part. So with Power BI with AI, so we can do machine learning and AI within Power BI and outside of Power BI. So what that means is, within Power BI, we're going to embed the ML and AI models, and also with external AI, we're going to use Azure Cognitive Services. So let's try and take a look at how we are going to embed these. So Microsoft by default have also embedded this Q&A as one of the options. So this is a natural language capability, which is now available for you in your Power BI desktop, where you can just go to ask a question, and then that's going to show you a drop-down, place for you to type. Based on the data sets you type, it's going to produce a data set for you, and the visualization. You can change the visualizations whatever you wanted to after that one. So Q&A is a very great tool. I'm not sure how many of you are using it. Once you deploy that to your Power BI .com website, you have these everything available in app.powerbi.com. So behind the scenes, whatever is happening is the artificial intelligence, which is embedded already part of the Power BI. So which is why it is in the core Power BI process, right? So that's one of the great AI feature where everybody can make use of it. And the main reason why Power BI also got the very big hit was because of the Q&A to start with mainly. Some of my customers who implemented that, they were mainly keen on this one because since it became a self-service reporting aspect for plenty of people, they wanted to build anything, but without any technical expertise, they just type something in the English language that they get the output easily. Right. Then second one is about the quick insights. So you can run quick insights to generate any interactive visualizations based on your data. So here, this AI is making everybody lazy. So when I say that laziness, so once you have the data set, you say you want to get a quick insights based on that particular data set. Then what happens is, it tries to read all the possible facts and dimensions and all the calculations, measures that you have inside the data sets, and tries to populate n number of visualizations to see what kind of insights that you can produce. Whichever you want it, you feel like you want it, you just pin it to your dashboard, and that it is for you. So that's that easy. So again, that's lazy making thing, but you at least would know what possibilities is that you can do with the data sets. Then that's also going to be a training mode for you to understand how you can implement it by seeing these sort of data sets on what type of visualization that you can come up with. Right? I have a demo to cover on these as well, so you don't need to worry about if you haven't touched these areas. Then talking about the last one, embedding within the Power BI, is about just the insights. So this is a Power BI desktop feature. So what you do is, if you have a visualization and then once you click on that visualization, you have these options shown like you see there. So the show data, group, include and exclude. Underneath that you have this analyze option. So some of the data sets that what we have, let's say you have some figures going up and down for various months, then you want to understand the reason why between the previous month is bigger than the next month or less than the next month. So it gives the options based on that. So that is also very much easy process, and it tries to go inside and identify the algorithms and then try and provide you with most of the bits and pieces. It might be really helpful for the management people, so why not give it a try with that one. Let's jump on to demo. Okay, so my mouse is moving. Yep. So that's the option where you have the ask a question. So as you see here, if I go to fields, and then I have plenty of data sets in here, right? So if I need to type anything on this ask a question option, as you see, this particular visualization is going to give you with everything. Now, I'm just going to start typing total sales, and then you can see these are the other possible options that it detects that it might be useful for you. And you wanted to choose, let's say, profit margin. I just click on that, and you got that visualization. Now, with the total sales, you wanted to break down that by, then you get the options to say city, state, description, package, whatever it is. Now let's say if you want to go with the city, because that's the majority of the numbers it may have. Did I click on that? That's really huge, right? So once you expand that, there you see the total number of sales done by every city. And if you want to change the visualization, you can go to the visualization tab and then make any change that you wanted to do, and you can see it much more clearer. So the management people, they really love this option. I do not know how many of you are using this, but I would really recommend start using these ones straight away, and also try and talk about this to your management people, and like you really will be like kind of noted from better perspective, of course. Okay, so that's the first one that we saw. The second one is about quick insights. So the quick insights, you need to go to your datasets in your app.powerbi.com, and then once you go into your workspaces, then you'll have the set of datasets that you have. So the one dataset that what we have used here is the survey DS, and if I just click on those three dots, I'm gonna get all of these ones, right? And you just have an option called Get Quick Insights, and click on that. That's going to take a little bit of time to understand what is there. Did I click? Yeah. So now it's saying searching for insights, and then whatever things have happened within that. And once it is ready, it's going to notify us. The reason why it takes much time is it is trying to go back to see programmatically how many measures are there, how many possible options that it can really produce and populate with the different visuals that are available online. So now it says it's ready by the time, and probably take less than 25-30 seconds. So now there you go, but it's going to give you a bunch of visualizations. So once you keep scrolling down, you see various visuals that are available. So you don't really have to think about what possible options that you really can bring and build. You want all of them, you can use all of them. You just want only one of them, you just go to the top right corner of each box and then click on pin to your dashboard. And that's it. And once you click on that, that's going to zoom up for you. And you can choose whether it is existing or a new, and then you can go to the dashboard once you pinned. And there you go, you got your pins there. Right, so that's a very easy to use feature. So those days we don't have to, we have to do plenty of programmatic stuff and then get the visuals out, and it was so very painful process. Now the data set has been given, system knows, understands, analyzes, and builds any kind of possible options what the management really need to see, and then it really makes our life much more easier. I would say it makes us lazier, but in that way, if you compare it, but if you see it in a better perspective, while you do this by this time, why don't you put additional time to do something else on top of that? So that's really going to be a good positive side. That's what I would say. Now, so that's the quick insight. Now jump on to insights. So if we take the existing visuals that we have here, as you can see, the number of total sales by this age band 2 is going up and down. So between 0 to 20 million dollars, you have these numbers going up, right? So once you click on any of those ones, right click, and go to analyze. Sorry, since I'm doing the screenshotting thing, like it's really a bit slow for me. And then here you see explain the increase. So wherever you clicked it, compared to the previous month, there is an increase. So now if you go to the previous one and right click, the 2 million one, and you will see why there is an explain the decrease. Okay, so it understands the first and the previous or the next, that sort of thing. So once you click on that explain the decrease stuff, that's going to show you a simple understanding of what might have happened there. So now it's preparing the data based on the data sets whatever we have compiled so far, and it's just giving a simple visual on what you need to add. So it says here's the analysis of the 42.12% decrease in total sales between 27 and 28. So it gives you the numbers from that number to this number, how the breakdown is actually happening, right? So that's really intuitive. So you got the increase, decrease, and other, and the total number of figures and everything. It's not just that. So you also can see that in a different visuals in here as well. Whether you want to see that in a line chart or a bar chart or stacked column charts and loads of things. So these sort of artificial intelligence is embedded into Power BI. What that means is behind the scenes, Microsoft have developed huge algorithms and reused them to apply within the Power BI desktop file itself. And also some of them are gone, like for example, Quick Insights. It was done purely from online-based perspective. What that also means is they have utilized a big farm of a big estate, only for data for Power BI, which can compute and give you the results very quickly, right? So if that is not done that quick, then Power BI wouldn't have been that successful. So there you go. So that's where it is. So let's go back to the slides. And let's try and take a look at very much more interesting topics on how we can do the AI using Azure Cognitive Services. I'm not sure how many of you are fan of Azure Portal and using the Azure features, how many have utilized that in the past, but this is going to be a very good starting point for you to learn how you can really familiarize and get yourself on board with the Azure Cognitive Service. Here we're going to see three simple options, what is possible for us. So first one is Python as a data source. What that means is I have the next pictures to explain on what exactly we're going to do. Then the processed data. So we're going to store the data into the Azure SQL database, and then we're going to do some AI output with that one. And we're going to do some text analytics with the word cloud. But when we say word cloud, that sounds simple, but the text being categorized, everything is going to come from the Azure Cognitive Services. So going to the next slide. As you see, this is a simple flow. What we're going to do is, in a Power BI report, we're going to use some Python scripts, and that Python script is going to have three important feature or the important key figures that's going to be helpful in getting the information from Azure Cognitive Services for one of the APIs that we're going to use. And then it is also going to have the image. So when we pass an image of a person, it is going to give whether they are male or female, they're wearing glasses or not, or they bald, or they how happy they are, sad, stressed, and so many number of things is going to analyze based on the picture. But we have seen these ones coming from the website. But once you have all of these things hard-coded and stuffs into your regular Power BI report, you're going to see that in just your local systems, where you don't have to build a massive infrastructure for that. Everything is in your tip of the hand. That's it. Very easy. So that's the first one for us. Then second one is we're going to extract the data and then place it into the SQL database and then process the data. It's both similar, but we are just getting the Azure SQL database in between so that you'll get more stacked information and easy to get the outcome on that. And then the third one is about text analytics. So here we're going to use the Excel to extract the data, and then Cognitive Services is going to do and produce the results, and you're going to click on the stuffs to see what are the words that are really very famous on that specific area as well. So let's get on to the demo. Okay, so this is a simple screen that you're seeing with Azure Cognitive Services. So this face API detects its trumps one, and as it detects, it says age is 67, male, no glasses, and bald is about 0.42 percentage. Then smiling, sad, and all of these key figures are actually populated in JSON, and we're just trying to use this one. So if you see these files going to edit queries, and then see the data source settings on how it is being used. So basically, the Python script that we have embedded on that one, we also created some 3 parameters to pass. So we don't have to go back to the Python script every time to make the changes. You can just open up the parameter and make the changes easily. So in here, the subscription key is not going to change. The face API URL is not going to change because those two are coming from our Azure portal as is. And then the image path is what you're going to easily choose. And here it has been programmed in a way where you can use a drop-down box. So you have 2 options. Either you go to your Google site and then search for an image of a person and then use that image, copy paste it into the text box, open text box, or store it here so that you don't have to keep going every time copy paste. Then you get a drop-down box when you're trying to change the figure. All right. Now, so this is a big, simple mechanism that is happening behind the scenes in the datasets queries. And once you go into the face API stuff. So this is the one that is connecting, where here is where if you go to the advanced editor, there you can see these are the Python scripts that's been embedded in here. And the Python scripts was extracted actually from the Azure API when we are trying to build the API stuff. When we are trying to call, then it has been massaged to best fit into the Power BI things, where we need to add to accommodate the parameters and various other stuffs to utilize into the Power BI area, right? And this is a simple example. Once it is modified, we need to validate whether the scripts are correct or not. So we just use the Jupyter stuff where I can really make some changes of whatever I wanted to. And then once it is validated that, then I'm going to use just simply copy paste into the Python. So to create a Python script into the Power BI, you're going to choose in Power BI, you're going to say new source and then say Python, search for Python script, and then it is going to give you option for you to hard code the values. So you just copy paste that, and then once you have it, you see everything there. All right. So that's a simple place where you would really embed all the Power BI stuff. I'm sorry, the Python into Power BI. Now, to see a demo on how this system will work, now, once you try and execute that, it is going to give these options. So those 2 parameters are not going to there. And then we choose the drop down of whatever values that we have hard-coded. So let's see what image is going to come up. And it's applying the query changes. Is that still applying? Okay, so now it's Satya's photo. So as you see, it is changed to age 48, male, reading glasses is wearing, and the bald is 0.95, of course, and the smile is 1 full. So the value is actually ranged from 0 to 1. And all of these are values that's been grabbed from the JSON scripts. So you go and change any of the photos, you want to feed your photo into that one, feel free to do so. But you need to have a photo image on that one, all right, into a HTTP URL, which can make your life much more easier. So that's a simple example of how it works. So if we go into jump into the Azure portal to show you how this API has been like kind of grabbed. Hang on a second. So that's the actual Microsoft Cognitive Services available, where you can go to the API sections on that one, and you can go to the Face API on this particular instance, and you have plenty of options down there where you can go down. And here you have the code samples where it says Python, and once you hit on that one, you get the Python script generated automatically for that. So like I said, this is the place where you grab the Python script and then modify to your requirement what needs to be done, and then you would use that. For the actual key and also for the URL, we get that from the portal.azure.com. So in this instance, I'm using Harry's Azure portal. Okay, so you go to simply create resource, and then you just try and go to the AI plus machine learning, and then the face, you get all the APIs on those ones, right? So there you go and create the Face API, and once you feed in, you just click on the results, I mean like the stuff what you need to click on create, and you have it. So let me show you what I already have in my Azure API service. So that's the API that we have used so far, and demo phase is the one that we have used. And in here you get your keys from grab your keys option, and then on your overview settings you will see the actual URL that needs to be used as the endpoint. That's it. So you have hard-coded these values in your Python, but then we also program that via the parameters. So it makes our life much more easier here, right? So you make use of Azure APIs, cognitive services, and then your Power BI Python is actually reading that data, extracting it, and you have used that as a data set to massage some information in the Power BI, and you see the output. You have done some magics here, really very, very easy. Now, let's jump on to the second demo. So the second demo is about extracting the same data but storing that in the Azure SQL database. But this one is again using the Face API, but this is much more interactive in here. So as you see, this Power BI report is built in a way where you can scroll down the images and click on the image. You don't have to choose the image, because while choosing the image you are using drop-down box there, right? But right now you're doing this one much easier. So you click on any image and then you see then values are being changed. That's that easy. So for these, we are storing the results in the Azure SQL database. And then seeing that one. So if we go to edit queries, and then we have to do create some functions specifically for these ones, and then embed that functions part of these areas. And that SQL Server database that you have extracted data from is that particular one, and that's a Azure SQL database. Okay, so it's not really rocket science, but as long as you start doing your homeworks, then you're really good to go with that. Now let's try and take a look at the third one, which is the text analytics. Also to talk about these key phrases. So these key phrases were actually used part of building these functions. So without this, it wouldn't be possible for us to getting these second demo really working, because that's really a very key factor for us. And this is about the sentiment one. So the first one is a key phrase, second one is a sentiment. So you only have two options. So you have to choose either one of the options for executing that. So we have programmed both the key phrase and the sentiment in here using the same endpoint, but this is a different endpoint which we did with the portalazure.com, and you use them for your data source here to invoke the custom functions as part of the Power Query editor, where, as you see in the applied steps, we have used this key phrase function query and the sentiment that we created over there. Okay, so let's jump on to the text analytics part. With the text analytics, as you see here, the key phrases what we have in here, and also we have another column where we're trying to extract some data, right? These particular data sets, what we're trying to extract, also reviews how many number of data sets that we have used. So if we quickly jump into the actual report output on what exactly the text analytics will do, that will really make more sense. Yeah, so this is a text sentiment analytics, where to the right you see the sentiment by name like Susan, Colorado, Ria, Elena, and so many things, right? So these data sets is actually being populated based on the value. So once you start selecting different names, then you see the key phrases that's been used on that has been changed here, right? It is based on the API that is actually extracting and producing the word cloud automatically for each user that's been selected. So text analytics is really totally different area where you would really need to see on what the majority of the problems are and how it's been majorly used, those sort of things. So quickly jumping into the text analytics API in here, you can see this is also again another feature of our cognitive services. And you create the sentiment stuff on that, and the code samples are given here. And again, these are used massively, but it's been massaged and being used in a way where it can be best fit into our Power BI environment. So that's how it looks like for us. Okay, so let's jump onto the slides. Any questions? Well, if you have any questions, not right now, but if you want some questions to be answered later, send an email to manny@dgf.com, and I will try and get back to you at the earliest. Thank you, everyone, and I'm passing on to Harry for his next session.